How are you going to overcome these difficulties when there is not that incredible driving force that comes from within, not from outside, not because we want to make our parents happy, not because we're going to have a job that will become, oh, he's a medical doctor, let's praise him, or we need him. Not kind of a selfish desire, but an unselfish desire, a desire of giving yourself to others. By having that beautiful driving force, it's going to be like a volcano, just like a mighty wind. It doesn't matter how hard it's going to be in medical school, you will just do it without even realizing it, effortlessly. Because the fact is, where there is love, there is no effort. If you love something, you will not feel like doing any effort to accomplish it. And I got just about 2 days ago an email from a student of mine, from current student right now, from Chem2B. I wish I had brought it here. And she was saying, something clicked to me of what you said a few days ago, and I see the reality of this. I have a very dear friend of mine, I love her so much. She was sick and she could not be able to go and take notes in your class, and I offered myself to go and take notes for her. And she said, I sat down and I wrote the notes to be able to bring them to her, to be able to understand them. And I couldn't believe how easy I did this. I sat down, I wrote all these notes, I rewrote them to do what? To bring them to my friend. And I didn't take any effort to do it. And when I do my own work, I'm in pain. It's just too much for me. But when I did it for her, it was effortlessly. I just could not believe how easy I did it. I didn't put any effort. And she said, I know because I love her. Because I love her so much that what I did for her, I didn't feel any effort I did to do this. And that was a beautiful letter. To me, it just satisfies me so much to know that at least one of my students, I know more of them, even though they don't express it, they do realize these great truths. And one of them is, if you love something, you will do it without any effort. And that is why sometimes students will enter the medical school, and I do have special cases, specific examples, specific names that happened to me, my students. And I found out that after they enter medical school, second year or first year, they dropped out. I had a student who entered dentistry, and he came to say goodbye to me and say, he rejoiced together with me. And he said, while we were talking, he says, two of my friends also entered medical school. He was a dentistry, entered a dental school. Entered medical school, and one of them dropped out the first year, came back to university to take business, whatever, do something else. And the second one dropped out, and I don't know where he is now. I've lost his trace. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he was depressed. Who knows? But the fact is that it is very important to move towards that direction, because of a driving force comes from all the way down from your heart, from within. Not because of fear or for glamour or because to satisfy parents. You want to make sure that that's in place, because when it is in place, not only the trip towards graduation from the medical school is going to be almost with no effort, but after you graduate, you will be a very happy person in your lives. You will have the success in and out. You will have inside success. When you are successful inside, you feel content. You feel like you are in the soul you belong. Then you will also be successfully outwardly, because believe me, you will not look for a job. They will look for a job. They will just follow you. They will just grab you, because you will excel. If you do something you love, there is no way you will not excel. There's just no way. No way. That's impossible. Anyone, and I can recommend to you actually a couple of books in that kind of spirit. There is a book which is called Making a Life, Making a Living. It's written by Mark Albion. Mark Albion. Making a Life, Making a Living. There is a number of stories there for people that in the middle of their career, they said no more. We cannot go on with this. We have to make a change. And they just gave up incredible, prestigious jobs with a lot of money, and they followed their heart. And not only they excel inside them, but they excel outside. There's example there's that they are mind-boggling. Very famous lawyers or whatever making millions of dollars. They said, you know what, this makes me tired. This makes me going nuts. I cannot do this anymore. I have to be honest with myself. Period. I have to be honest with myself. He says, what do you like to do? I like to make cakes. Are you kidding? You will just give up your career as a medical doctor, as a lawyer, whatever, and you will go and make cakes? You must be nuts. Maybe you're crazy or something. Yeah, no, I like to make cakes. And look, when I give them to my friends, they say they are incredible cakes, better than the ones they buy, and they love them. And I want to make cakes. Oh, you lost your mind. No, he didn't lose his mind. He follows his heart, and in a few years, he ends up to have a chain of stores around the United States selling cheesecakes. Not only he becomes really rich, but because he's so content, right? Everything he does is in a loving way. So the ones that he hires, they are loving people. They are people that they want to serve. So he just draws so many crowds to his stores. He gets so much money. He says, look, I am content. I don't need 10 houses or 10 cars, or I don't know how many islands to be happy. I'm already happy because I serve the people, I do what I love. So, hey, all this money here to the community. So the community goes crazy. They say, we love this guy. Look, he gave us all this money for our schools, for our places to play for our kids, playgrounds, whatever, libraries, and so on and so forth. So here's a person who was miserable in a position that he was so rich and do whatever he was doing, dying basically inside. He decides to take the risk and take really a great risk, but he believes inside himself that this is the path. And then he goes and excels on what he loves to do. He's so full, he does not keep the money for himself. He just gives them away to the community. The community respects and loves him. And then the community goes crazy into his stores. He gets even more money. So he goes crazy now from happiness and richness. Can you see what I'm saying? This is possible for every one of us. This is possible for every one of you. So I would buy that book and read it, because there's a lot of stories like that. Not just one story, there's a lot of about 50 stories like that. Just the quotes that book has is incredible. To me, something like this happened. If I want to talk about a little bit more about my own experience. I finished my PhD at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, and then I had a big loan because I had 2 kids. I had 2 children, very young, babies. And actually we didn't have enough money, so I would get loans to be able to go and sit my parents in Greece and buy fruits for my kids. So I started getting loans. I ended up with about $35,000 loans. And again, that was the wrong decision. Looking back, it was the wrong decision. But perhaps if I had not done that wrong decision today, I would not be here talking to you. So everything works good at the end, Because of the experience I had, that's why I'm here talking to you. If I didn't have this experience and this pain, going through this pain, I would not be here talking to you. So, because having these loans, I never thought about going to do what I really love. I knew I loved teaching. So why didn't I go and just go even to a community college? It doesn't have to be one of the greatest universities. Even though I had recommendation letters from Los Alamos, very famous people, world known, that this man is good for the first top 10 universities in the United States as a chemistry professor. I had these recommendation letters. But I knew inside me that I would not be very happy to just do research or work in an industry or things like that. I knew this, but the fear of the loan. Well, I got to pay this terrible loan, $35,000, and then I'll see what I'm going to do. Well, that was not a good decision because you start the wrong way. So I started by going to industry, and then going to Greece for 1 year, 2 years at the university. I like it, but then was not working there because it's very hard to work in places that are not organized, okay? I will put it that way. So I came back 2 times I went there. I taught a little bit and came back because I cannot do it the way I love to do it here. I don't have the resources, I don't have the mentality to be able to do it in the best way I want to do, okay? So I came back and I do it here now, teaching. But it took me years to realize that I cannot go against myself. It came to the point 10 years ago when I resigned from my last job which was a permanent job, on the 90s, when I resigned from that job, perhaps today I was making $150,000 a year, was a permanent job, one of the best jobs at Lawrence Liver Mission Laboratory. And I left another permanent job from Dow Corning. I was a chemist research in Dow Corning. I was permanent. And I worked from these permanent jobs, from both of them out. I said, I resigned, that's it. To go to teaching. And I left that job, high-paying job, 10 years ago, to go from a salary every month. I was getting $8,000 a month to go to $500 with $3,000 house payment in Livermore. Driving on the highway, being part-time teacher in some colleges there, making $500 a month. I was crying on the highway all the time. I was afraid I would have a crash because I was all the time crying. This is, what in the world did I do? I must be crazy. People are telling me crazy. Other people say I'm a hero. What am I? Maybe I'm crazy. You know, I left a job of $95,000 a year, and now I ended up with having no job. I don't have any job, and I beg to have $500 a month. Now I have to sell the house and move. What am I going to do? But I knew inside my heart I had to do it. I had to do it. It had come to a point and says, you know what? If I continue like this, I will become dead. I will become sick. I will have a cancer. I couldn't. Monday's coming up. Oh God, I'm going to do something I'm not really happy with it. You know, I wanted to do something. I wanted to be with people. So I said, okay, I'm going to study psychology. That was a good thing that somebody appeared out of the sky, you know. He was actually a professor here, Golden, sociology professor. And I wanted to go to do a PhD, sociology or psychology. She told me, you're too old. You will go and take exams again, you will be in trouble. Try to do something from where you are, okay? And by the time I resigned and I said goodbye to my old job, things happened all over, and I got courage, whatever, exposure, I had ideas and so on and so forth. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to teaching. And I started with one class 6 years ago at UC Davis, just one class. Somebody had sick leave, says, would you like to teach this class for this quarter? I said, of course. And then from that class, no permanent position, nothing. After 6 years, full-time, good standing, I wrote the books that I love for my students, to write things the way I want to present it, which I believe it's easy for them to understand. And everything goes so beautifully. Having the opportunity to have the gardens and gather with my students to talk about anything else except chemistry, which I wanted to do as a psychologist, right? So it's incredible. When you go according to what is in your heart, eventually what happens is it doesn't matter in what landscape you are. I don't care in what kind of a work environment you are, because in every work environment there is a lot of possibility. There is a possibility to do something about business, right? Or to do something about being outside. Or there's so many different ways that a company, wherever you work, can employ you, that the only thing you really to do is to follow your heart. You can be a medical doctor, right? And you might have some craziness about business, okay? Wherever you are in a hospital, you will find your place. Somewhere they will have somebody that they need, a passionate man about how to do the business part of their hospital. And there you are. You're a medical doctor. You also have that business passion, and there you are. That's it. So it's not the end of the world if you make a mistake. You will find your position in life and to be happy eventually, right? But we are here talking about these things in order to be able to do it in a way that is going to be the least painful and the most efficient and the most beneficial to you and to other people around you, even from today if possible. Isn't that the reason we're here? Right? That's the reason.